Yeah, and who knows? I mean, even the book itself with the Kindle, I guess, and when that becomes uh, just more common and goes down in price, and maybe the library will just where you download your text for your Kindle, and you don't even have to go into the library. I mean, we are gonna. There always will be libraries, and I think books are still people.
They're a convenient format.
They're convenient format. That's true. I really and maybe it's just now with the well. Also, they're saying there's a more of an increase of people using the libraries than ever before, as far as because if you're going to cut something out, it might be buying that Dan Brown book, and you'll go to the library and get it instead. And also, like I say, we do. There always will be, the need for the popular stuff. Like vendor maybe will be able to just supply us with a certain amount of bestsellers. But I still think you'll need collection development for materials that are local or more tailored to the community. And one thing I have noticed is like the New York Times bestseller list. It's not the least the readers in our community. I mean, obviously they reflect some of that, but there's stuff on the New York Times bestsellers list that doesn't resonate with them as well, and so we'll get,
Good.
yeah, which is good. I mean, it's such a, I mean, not everything, obviously, probably about 75% of it does, but then there's that other percent where it's like, I've learned too, we buy stuff and it's like, no, this is might be big in the East Coast, but it's not really big with with people in our particular community. We still do have some need for local, for more of a, I guess, the human touch, or I shouldn't say the human touch, professional librarians deciding what's, what their public wants and how to suit their needs, I guess, the best in the library,
It
the
feels
best we
nice
can do.
when you pick a book that isn't getting a lot of press, and you think, I think this one's cool,
Yeah.
and I think people will like it. Let's get some of these, and then it gets a lot of
Yeah.
holds, and it kind of takes off.
I used to love to do that when I was at the branch. And
All
like,
that
look at
being
this
said,
weird book
stick
on
with
napkins.
Vampire
Let's put it
Romance.
out, and then check out. It's like, who knew, But I mean, there's always. I mean, one time this little girl, she was so funny, and she just came up to me and said, I want a book on sharks, which a lot of little kids do. And I'm like, okay. And then she goes, and I want to see them eating people. And I said, all right, she's good. And then I looked for this book, and we found some book of sharks attacks, and it was great. And I just so we still offer that personal touch, and if there's, just, I think that's what's nice about review, actually in collection development, you do get to review books. And now you can look at them online too, and look at the cover and stuff like that. And you get, and it's nice. You get to review the books. I mean, I spend part of my day well, not every day, but at least I'll try to save a little bit of time once a week to review books. There's a lot more going on.
So, and then we always end with the question, and you started to get into this: is print a dying medium?
Speaking as an electronic resources librarian, I'd say absolutely. Probably the most important thing you'll find in a library is databases. No, I don't think print is a dying. Well, of course, I don't think it's necessarily, when you say print, oh, never mind.
You mean like paper
Withdrawn.
books?
Paper books.
They're changing. I think it's a changing media.
Yeah.
I still think people. I mean, when you look at it, even people on the internet, unless they're, I mean, if they're looking at articles or something like that, they're still reading some form of print, and maybe the actual book itself is not dying, but just kind of stabilizing. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't think it's going to die, but I think print on demand is probably the emerging medium. I don't know that mass publication is going to stay as big because, of course, having the digital version that's available, it can be put into multiple formats. So the expense is less, but I think I think print on demand is likely to kind of grow as people will be able to. I think the market for books is already very segmented and will continue to segment further. and people will be able to use websites, and a lot of times, you know, you can go today to an author's website and read, you know, one chapter at a time, and maybe subscribe and read a couple chapters. And while I think that's going to grow, I think too you'll have that will combine with situations where you can, you know, read a little teaser, maybe the first couple of chapters of a book, and then if you want to buy it, you just click and you download it, or it can be printed and sent to you. I don't know that the mass production of thousands of copies of titles will last all that much longer.
I don't know what I can add to that.
Except I disagree with everything you just
you know, I think it's going to happen, but not anytime really soon. I mean, there's still, you know, who knows? You know, the world's going to end in 2012 anyway. So.
We've only got 3 years left. Yeah, I think personally, when I'm looking at something in a digital format, if I find myself scrolling down and down and down and down, I would often rather just print the whole thing out and have it in print anyway. So I think print is an easier format to work with in a lot of ways on the user level. But since it's harder to work with from the mass production level,
well, I don't know if it's harder to work. I mean, they have everything set up. I mean,
well, sure, they have everything set up, but I mean, the costs are higher, I think, than just having your server with the whole, you know,
but
set of encyclopedias on it.
Yeah, that's true too. But then when the server goes down, you know, you can still open
back
up a
up your
book as
data.
long as, you know. And also too, I mean, with these new Kindles, don't they have where you can just kind of turn the page? And I think it's just gonna. I mean, maybe it will decrease somewhat, but and it'll be like maybe the tide will turn, but I guess we'll just find out.
Short answer, Dale, I don't know.
I don't know. What do you think there, Marshall?
Well, thank you. That's all we have time for today. So no, thank you guys so much for allowing us to be interviewing you. So
no, well, thank you. Good luck, guys.
Hope to see it on
you
online
too.
soon.
you will.
Okay.
Send us the link.
Thanks.
Or print it out and mail it to us.